Are you ready for a wild ride into the mind-bending and slightly unsettling world of inbreeding? Well, buckle up, because this video is about to take you on a journey that blends science, history, and a fair bit of jaw-dropping trivia. Inbreeding, that age-old taboo, isn't just the stuff of medieval scandals and royal family trees. It holds some truly fascinating and bizarre truths about genetics, survival, and what happens when the family reunion gets way too close for comfort. Prepare to be entertained, informed, and maybe just a little bit horrified. Let's kick things off with a closer look at the doomsday clock, that ominous timepiece that measures humanity's proximity to self-inflicted extinction. Introduced in 1947 by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, the clock was initially set at 7 minutes to midnight as a reflection of post-World War II nuclear tensions. But the clock isn't just about nuclear annihilation anymore. It now factors in threats like climate change, cyber warfare, and even artificial intelligence. Imagine it as a metaphorical Swiss Army knife of impending doom. Right now, it's set at 100 seconds to midnight, closer than ever before. That's the metaphorical equivalent of humanity teetering on the edge of a trampoline, with the trampoline itself on fire. Pretty dramatic, huh? Now, picture this: a global catastrophe has wiped out nearly everyone, leaving you and one other lucky, or unlucky, survivor. It's just the two of you against the world, tasked with repopulating the planet. Sounds like the setup for a dystopian rom-com, right? But before you start picking out baby names, let's talk about the science of genetics and why this scenario is much more complicated than it seems. Sure, the first generation might be easy enough to produce, but when it comes to creating the second, things get tricky, and by tricky, I mean wildly inappropriate and biologically risky. If you're enjoying this fascinating dive into existential risks, don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-blowing stories. Let's take a detour to 18th century Russia, where a couple named Mr. and Mrs. Vasilyev made headlines for having 69 children. Yes, 69. This record-breaking feat involved an impressive array of twins, triplets, and quadruplets, and while it may sound like a party trick gone too far, it highlights the extremes of human reproduction. Of course, back then, contraception wasn't exactly state-of-the-art. Let's just say animal intestine condoms weren't winning any popularity contests. But the Vasilyev's tale isn't just a quirky footnote in history, it's a testament to what humans can achieve when biology and persistence collide. And now, the elephant in the room: inbreeding. Historically, incest has been labeled as a universal taboo, with psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud naming it one of humanity's two primary cultural prohibitions. Yet, despite its ick factor, the rules around incest vary widely between cultures. Some societies draw the line at first cousins, while others see no issue until you're knocking on sibling territory. Scientists theorize this aversion to inbreeding is hardwired into our DNA as a survival mechanism, a built-in genetic alarm bell that says, hey, maybe don't date your brother. This instinct makes sense when you consider the risks involved. But what exactly happens when that alarm is ignored? To understand the dangers, we need to peek under the hood of human genetics. The Human Genome Project revealed that each of us carries between 20,000 and 30,000 genes, which we inherit in pairs from our parents. Most genetic diseases are recessive, meaning you need 2 copies of a faulty gene to develop the condition. By mixing DNA with a close relative, you double the odds of matching up those pesky recessive genes. Imagine a genetic slot machine where the jackpot is a disease like cystic fibrosis or Tay-Sachs, except in this game, winning is the opposite of good news. Fun fact: the average person carries about 2 harmful recessive genes. Sleep tight. Real-world examples of inbreeding's effects abound, like the tiny island of Pinjlap in Micronesia. In 1775, a typhoon wiped out all but 20 of its inhabitants. Among the survivors was a king with a rare genetic condition called complete achromatopsia, which causes total color blindness. Today, 1 in 10 Pinjlapese residents inherits this condition. For context, That's 3,300 times higher than the global average. This phenomenon, known as the founder effect, shows how a small population can amplify genetic quirks, for better or worse. And remember, the Pingelapes weren't even engaging in sibling-level inbreeding. Imagine the genetic chaos if they had been. The stakes get even higher when we delve into royal history. Meet the Habsburgs, Europe's reigning champions of keeping it in the family. Over their 650-year reign, this dynasty married cousins, uncles, and nieces with reckless abandon. The result? A distinctive chin known as the Habsburg jaw, alongside a laundry list of health issues. The most infamous example was Charles II of Spain, who was so inbred that his genetic makeup was more tangled than a pair of headphones left in a pocket. Poor Charles suffered from everything from speech difficulties to hormonal deficiencies. His autopsy revealed an atrophied, coal-black testicle, a tragicomic symbol of the Habsburg legacy. Speaking of legacies, let's hop in our time machine to visit the Neanderthals. These ancient relatives of ours vanished about 40,000 years ago, and for a long time, anthropologists blamed us for their demise. But recent evidence suggests that inbreeding may have been their true downfall. With small, isolated populations, Neanderthals had little choice but to shack up with close relatives. Over time, this genetic bottleneck likely contributed to their extinction. It's a sobering reminder of the importance of genetic diversity, and a lesson for any hypothetical post-apocalyptic repopulation efforts. But wait, there's hope. Scientists like astrophysicist Frederick Marin have crunched the numbers to determine how many people you'd need for a successful interstellar colony. For a 6,000-year journey to Proxima Centauri, you'd need at least 98 individuals to maintain a healthy gene pool. Other studies suggest much larger numbers, but the takeaway is clear: diversity is key. So, if humanity ever escapes Earth's gravitational pull for good, let's make sure we pack plenty of genetic variety, and maybe leave the inbreeding drama behind. From the Habsburg jaw to the Pingelapes color blindness, history has shown us that our survival depends on embracing diversity, both genetic and cultural. Yet, it's not all gloom and doom. Remember, even in the smallest, most isolated corners of the world, humans have found ways to adapt and persevere. So, whether it's rebuilding society post-apocalypse, colonizing new planets, or just tolerating your extended family at the next reunion, the lesson is clear: our interconnectedness is our greatest strength, and maybe our greatest quirk. Who knows, maybe that weird uncle you've been side-eyeing at Thanksgiving is the secret to humanity's future. After all, we're all part of one massive, eccentric family tree. Until next time, stay curious, and don't forget to pack your trampoline. You never know when you'll need it.